afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, heel psych, defender of the fatherland. Of here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Arnhem checkpoint. Between the south, we got here Burmie, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the Großdeutschland Panzer Division versus the north. We got HadYouLooked, fighting here for the Soviet Union, Socialism, the 7th Mechanized Corps. He is, by the way, a Korean player, rank 128, so pretty solid there. Burmie here with Storm Trucks and melee chosen infantry, anti-tank and mine bulletins versus counterattack tactics, anti-infantry and shock rifle with double tank destroyer bulletins, specifically penetration, and a single pincer bulletin is clearly aiming for that one. So there we go, MD42 going to start here for Burmie, and while he rushes for the centre and seems like making moves towards eastern viewpoint, which is good and important. Also, big thanks to Mark and to Thomas for donating. Your generous donations have been most heartily appreciated here by the Propaganda Master here, so thank you. And of course, a big thanks to all of those who of course donated already, and of course supporting me on Patreon. Big thanks to all of you. You're all wonderful, charming, and incredibly handsome people. I'm sure of it. So I actually goes for double pioneer start into the infantry company. I was actually just going by rote there, didn't actually notice that. So that's an interesting start that which allows him to grab more territory faster in a way, but of course does mean he has less firepower. Though against the Soviets, bit risky in some ways, but at the same time can allow to just outcap the Soviets, since it does mean with the penal troops start they will be delaying in grabbing territory. In fact, he's not even bothering to hang about there, so it seems like he's not prioritising sort of holding, he's just getting in there, slightly frustrated. HadYouLooked, maybe confuse him a bit, well then moves in to secure a lot of the other parts of the map there. So this is an interesting opening there from Burmie in terms of Wehrmacht openings. That is an interesting one there. MD40 up, he's going to probably try and use the pioneers to bait them into the MD40 here by the fuel point. And looks like HadYouLooked is going for it, hook, line, and sinker. There we go, nice over there. I mean, generally don't see the MD42 over there, so I suppose for HadYouLooked, if you sort of go for what most players normally do, I mean, there's no problem there. In this case, he might have wanted to sense there was some kind of bait. But there you go, Pims arriving here in the cafe, flanking the penal troops who have to nonetheless cut the point off here. A few shots fired, Strafniki, more arriving there for HadYouLooked. MD4 coming up there to the carve point, Pioneers going for the victory point. Pioneers continuing on the west side here, we got more grenadiers on the way there for Burmie. So, Storm Doctrine, very interesting there. MD42 opening up there on the Strafnik inside the house. Grenadiers falling back into the cave. You can see the penal troops, they're falling back. HadYouLooked is not going to hang around any longer than absolutely necessary. Certainly, I think, a right decision there. Third penal troop all the way there for HadYouLooked and the 7th Mechanized Corps to try to push through the town centre here, which Burmie is tenaciously defending in the name of Deutschland. We got the Pioneers all the way over here, also securing territory there, so he's grabbing as much as he can. Pioneers, basically, I think he's moving him to deny the house. It's HadYouLooked so he can't fall back towards it. Third squad there arriving. Oh, looks like he's just going to ignore the fact hit for the carve one there. Going to take advantage of HadYouLooked's intense focus on the centre of the map. He take his own carve point. I think that's a very sort of swift and smart decision there, but Burmie, that is proved to be a bit unfortunate how HadYouLooked there, which is going to force him to basically fall out from the town centre because either he has to defend his fuel point, or he has to give up his, and basically the fuel is more important in these cases, so he basically has to fall back, which allows Burmie then to move forward through the town square, and there's now moving in the second penal squad, anyway, the third one, to the centre anyway. So HadYouLooked is clearly being a bit overstretched here by Burmie's aggressive tactics. You can also soon go for ambush camouflage there on his MD42. The needs to shoot those grenadiers before they get whacked, and there's in fact a small chance there with a bit of bad luck, but there you go. Luck in this time does favour Burmie, and Ludwig, the last grenadier of Squad Helmut, gets away. Beta Mids there getting into the house there, basically using the low health penal troops squad to make him think he'd never pop them back in, but he did. Though of course the great thing is they can't last for long, but he might be able to get a few kills in the grenadiers if Burmie does not pull back, and Burmie's determined to just push ahead. He doesn't care about, and there you go. In this case, Burmie's push works out. He didn't lose a single grenadier, pushed back the penal troopers, got the house. So bold move there by Burmie, bold move, in this case paying off there nicely. HadYouLooked going there for the 2nd Engineer Squad. 3 Grenadiers, 2 Pioneers, 1 MD42 there for Burmie. And the Großdeutschland Grenadiers now begin to bleed up, paying the price for their fight out here. And we can see Burmie's beginning to fall a bit back there with them, perhaps realising he pushed them beyond the breaking point. So how will HadYouLooked react to this? He's got medics out already, he might need some more infantry. And the West again, units falling back in the face of the Grenadiers advance there from Burmie. Pioneers moving up there with Flammen efforts ready to clear out any rations. Troops here, and almost got the first tier in which case he can push for like to make a nice company. The question is, he's going to go for half-track to make use of the half-track anti-tank mounts, and some players actually do that, though. They are a minority. Then again, the players who go for Storm Doctrine in the first place are a minority, so, you know, there tends to be sort of a chance of them overlapping. All people over there pushing back the Pioneers. HadYouLooked could, of course, try an aggressive tech up, but he's seemingly now not going to focus too much in the centre there, which I would describe as probably the better chances now. That is where Burmie's digging in, but that leaves his fuel point unguarded, and HadYouLooked here seems to have realised there's overall a better avenue of approach here against Burmie. Because there we go, adding light machine. That's what we've got flamethrowers joining in, and we can see a complete rout here as the Punions was realising they have no chance of doing any damage, and HadYouLooked concurs, falling back with them, rather than waste precious manpower that could be used more efficiently versus Burmie by, you know, trying to outmaneuver the bastard. So there you go, hitting the fuel point. Back here, Burmie's going for a half-track. On a large map like this in particular, it's good, but overall I think the half-track is pretty good for the Grenadiers. Allows them to reinforce on the field, of course, maintaining better field presence, which tends to be critical for the Wehrmacht. Pioneers versus the flamethrower. There we go, rough nade! And dodged it. That was pretty close there. Pretty close. Could have been at this point the fight a bit critical there for HadYouLooked. They lost them. You're right, still actually losing the engineers there. Low on health. Grenadiers have found the count TKs right at their backs. But looks like Pushkin, the last man, makes it out of there. Grabbing point C. Almost got the fuel point there. Pioneers moving in. Got the 251 Mittler shoots and Panzerwagen out there. Pushing up towards it. Grenadiers moving in. Fourth Pimsel squad almost done. Up here we got Pimsel versus Pioneers. Shots fired. Pushing back the Pioneers. Grabbing the field point there. Grabbing the point here as well back. Fourth Pimsel got this now. HadYouLooked's got a lot of infantry out on the field. And he's also now beginning to move on the sort of eastern side, though the west side is now being given up here to Burmie. Moving into south to reinforce his Pioneers. Very good work there. More light machines away there for Burmie of the Großdeutschland. The MD-42 still in the centre. He's going to need a larger assault here to clear it out. The flamethrower is attacking for the south, and he is bringing a Pim's support there, but the flamethrower team is nowhere to be seen. But there he goes, basically launching an attack there. He's going to probably try and get close and then throw a satchel at the church. But he needs to be a bit faster about this. And there you go, looks like Burmie realises the MD-42 is compromised, falls back with it rather than risk losing it here to HadYouLooked. The half-track moving forward here, charging in, infantry quickly dismounting to fight the Russian Scourge. Need to be careful over the half-track though. Grenadiers moving in towards the penal troopers. Pioneers moving towards the church. There goes Safnik moving ahead. They're attacking from several sides. And a satchel charge off in the half-track. Pretty bad news here. Ford needs to get away from the infantry. And there goes satchel charge goes off. Almost taking out the half-track. And it is low on health. Pioneers doing what they can. Penal are taking losses. Pushing ahead with the second penal squad. But it's really low on health. And HadYouLooked here could risk losing it. He pushed too far across negative cover. And he suffered a wipe. Half-track still stands though. Pretty close battle here for Burmie and HadYouLooked, but in the end, Burmie prevailed there. HadYouLooked should have probably considered another angle of approach there. Suffered too many losses, and that ended up being a bit too critical there. So now the map is split into a west-east divide there for the northern player, holding the east sector, which is a bit rarer. But Burmie now holding the west, and he's been cut off as well. So in this regard, HadYouLooked now is the one getting the fuel here. He's also going for docks, and it is shock. Rifle, a shocking choice here with shock troopers out here as well, quickly mounting in there with their PPS-41s, their satchels filled with grenades, and their body armour. Burmie going for a Pack 40 here, anticipating some kind of vehicular push from the Russians. He's probably not anticipating though, shock troopers. And now hitting the other fuel point as well, but Burmie now pushing back up the east, so both players able to be quickly changing fuel points here between each other. Got the Pack 40 there arriving for Germany. Up here, troops ready. Got the shock troops moving down the west side. Half-track almost good to go. A lot of Grenadiers there, but LMG 42s. Leichte Maschinengewehre. And there you go, hitting the calf point there. Pimps sneaking up behind the Grenadiers here. There you go, pinging their SVT 40 semi-automatic rifles. Shock troops closing with the other side. Got the half-track good to go again here for Burmie. There you go, quick grenade there on the Grenadiers. Oh! Close there, actually could have suffered some losses. Flamethrower Pioneers need to be cut down and wiped out there. And there you go, almost got them. Half-track falling back here. Good attack there by HadYouLooked. Caught Burmie there a bit off guard. And Burmie seemed to struggle a bit there with HadYouLooked shock troopers, apparently a bit shocked that someone actually went for them. More pioneers on the way. They're having lost the pioneers with the flamethrower. It's actually a bit of a loss there for Burmie. So it was a pretty good counter here to HadYouLooked's presence in the centre of the map. Take over there for HadYouLooked. And the 7th Mechanized Corps troops seeing reinforcing here. More pioneers there, almost done. No take up yet though for Burmie. Good try and push it for medium armor Schnell. And fighting here, Pimps was going to do inside the house. Half tech needs to fall back as unattended. Unsupported, it's not that good. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. It tends to work better supporting infantry. And needs to be careful it doesn't get satchelled again. My God, Ludwig, we can't get satchelled again. Did you see some mechanic's face when we had to explain him we took a satchel charge? It looked like he was going to have a heart attack. MD4 to defend the Koch point there, but now HadYouLooked has control of the map. He's having turned the tide against Burmie and the Corps Deutschland, at least for now. The shock troopers are having a bit of effect there, of course. He has to be careful they don't get single-handedly focused on. He's using the half to basically sort of push forward to draw the fire. Allowing the rest of the troops to move in, and there you go. HadYouLooked pulls back the shock troopers as he goes for the T-70 light tank to pressure Burmie. And the Corps Deutschland and his mechanized infantry pushes forwards into the town centre. Alright, Fritz, I want you into Church Tower. There's a light machine gun. I don't want to go up there. I'm afraid of heights. Alright, then. You don't go into the Church Tower. There's a machine gun gewehr. Christ. Why did I have to get to one machine gunner who's afraid of heights? No take up still there for Burmie. Up far north here, we got Pimps engaged by the pioneers. Or the penal troopers, not all the way around. Heading down here the eastern side again. Good. I mean, he's maintaining pressure there, which is important. And we can see Burmie's doing the same here, though, hitting HadYouLooked around his fuel. Now, of course, now the T-7 is sitting there. And the problem is, his Pack 40 is on the far east. So his western forces are a lot exposed now to any light armoured intervention from HadYouLooked and the 7th Mechanized Corps. We've got the T-7 rolling in there aggressively, appearing right there on the flank of Burmie. Good hit there. Panther fast off on the T-70, damaging in the end. Safniki forced back. He's of course pulling it back because there's a Pack 40 nearby, so in this regard HadYouLooked is trying to play it carefully. Still wants you to support them, push back Burmese troops, but he doesn't want to risk immediately getting, hammered by Pack 40. So of course now he's switching towards the west side here. HadYouLooked's continued presence on the eastern side is making even better progress, hitting the fuel point again. So good harassment there for HadYouLooked, good handling there of two separate forces. One primary force here, which basically sort of acts as a diversion for the secondary force. And also in this case, the primary force managed to relieve pressure on the left flank, forcing back Burmie overall, who lacks any sort of mobile counter to the T-70 light tank. So that's basically a Burmese problem at the moment. The T-70 gives him quite a good deal of freedom. Of course, he has the half-tech, which to an extent does the same. It can't deal with the T-70 light tank. That's really the main thing. You can get a half-tech faster, you can still give a better field presence, but it can't counter the T-70. Unless, of course, it's been laying down Regal mines, which is the one thing Burmie did not actually do. Had he done that, things could have actually been looking rather different here. So that's another tactical victory there for HadYouLooked, as now the machine gun here in the east is getting obliterated, and HadYouLooked is going to be getting a lot of fuel vigilance rush ahead here. Almost got the MD-42 as well. He got that, that would have been... Ooh, he did get it. Taking to the centre, more mines being laid down by HadYouLooked. He's quite quick there to take advantage of the edge he's got. Very good. Up here, troops reinforcing. He'd like to try and take up soon. Push for fast T-34s. Maybe go for a fuel cache and long term set up for an IS-2. After remaining in support. Drawing around aggressively. Going there for the MD-42, but the pioneers will be secured. Then again, they might not be able to make back with it in front of the penal troops. There we go. Satchel charge off. Wipes it, though his penal troopers might not make it back home. Yeah. There you go, retreat. It's not worth wasting virtually two penal trooper squad, in particular, not considering he doesn't have that much other infantry at the moment, and the penal troops are hard to, replace. So, understandable here that he's not keen on it, because he's taking losses, though with a half-tank nearby, that can quickly be rectified. And there you go, Teller-mines, but not Regal mines. That is a bit funny. We have these mines in the half-tank. Can't be 9. We have to use Teller-mines. I don't like the square look of those Regal mines. Actually, it's a rectangle. Shut up, Dietrich, or I'll slap you. Half-track falling back here. Cluster Veteranry 3 having done quite a bit of good there. Note a Panzer Grenadier unit that was equipped with armoured half-track called a Gepanzerte Panzer Grenadier Company and so on there because it was armoured. Sort of little fun fact. They always would just be Panzer Grenadiers and, you know, trucks or whatever. About to lose the T-70 score. Grenadiers to the T-70. Half-track moving in. The pack folding opening up. For some reason he's pursuing it with a half-track though. I'm guessing he accidentally gave an attack order here and the half-track's pursuing it or something. I'm not entirely sure how this is supposed to make sense for Burmie. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm guessing this was sort of a massive misclick or something. Pathing error, or I don't know. I really don't know what happened there with Burmie in his half-track. Got the T-70 though, but losing that half-track is a bit of a blow there to Burmie. They did get the T-70. I mean, I suppose this could have been part of an all highly advanced plan here to basically get him to get his T-70 to stick around for longer to hit with a Pack 40, maybe. In which case, I'd have to say that was some pretty impressive baiting, though rather costly. He's going for the replacement half-track, so I have to say this. Clearly, it's a part of his strategy. He's not just going to throw it away. But there you go. Burmie finally taking up there. Grenadiers dealing with the Penalties light machine gun they're firing out. I believe that was from the ground floor, so clearly it was the guy afraid of heights there. News pushed back. Right side being secure. We got demo charge down there. Oh dear, Burmie looks like he's not realising it. There you go. And boom, there it goes. After moving up to support the Grenadiers, he's moving to reinforce them so they can just counterattack and push back the penal troopers. Very good. And we can see Burmie seems to realise what's going on. Oh, HadYouLooked seems to realise what's going on. Retreats. Take almost down there for Burmie. As for HadYouLooked, we got take up there as well. He can soon begin pushing out the T-34-76 here versus Burmie and the course Deutschland. Grenadiers almost wiped out. He's got a mortar out, so he actually attacked first for support from company. Bring in a mortar to further deal with sort of Burmie stuck in numbers. In fact, he's gone for the second before too. So quite some interesting choices there from both players. More Grenadiers on the way to having lost a squad to the Russians, obviously to the T-70. Burmie ensures the replacement of the way. Not going for Panther Grenadiers though. Bit of a shame. That's a bad choice. We're going to send the artillery called in on the church. Lighting hard players on fire. An act of extreme atheism there from HadYouLooked. Following the Soviet creed. After we support the pioneers in the town centre as it burns up, Grenadiers quickly wiped out here by the incendiary fires. Church burst into flames. Grenadiers did survive though, a bit lucky there for Burmie. HadYouLooked can actually go for the T-34-76 now and benefit a lot from it. Burmie needs to go up for armour soon as well to counter that. In the west here, Grenadiers dealing with engineers moving in, more engineers moving up. He's actually, oh, he's going to get a wipe. He's going to get a wipe. Oh, bit of a loss there for HadYouLooked. Bit of a loss. I need to get out of the T-34 fast. Need to retreat the penal troops there as well. He can't afford any more losses. Pioneers close being wiped out, but not quite an east step. Shock towards those Grenadiers. Need to retreat as well. Oh, he's going to lose another engineer squad. Oh, this is going to be horrific for HadYouLooked at both of his engineer squads with flamethrowers wiped by a single Grenadier squad. Big loss there for HadYouLooked. That was definitely rather senseless series of losses. I think in this case, he was trying to do too much. You know, he was trying to fight here, and then, you know, it's pretty difficult to maintain, you know, 3 active engagements like that. That rather wiped out there for Burmie. And he's going for tier 4 though. He is going for tier 4. Bold attempt there by Burmie. I mean, it's not like the patch is out yet, so the Panther isn't, well, nerfed and buffed. With the latest update, seems to be slowly getting more buffed. But there's a video by the way on that. Also going up with this one. That's certainly a bold move there, and at the same time he does feel like he's more in front, so he can get away with going for a Panther, and obviously in this case if he can pull it off, he might be able to cement a more decisive lead. As for HadYouLooked, he might want to eventually consider investing into some fuel catchers as opposed to trying to get out on ice too. But he needs to be more careful with his units. I mean, throwing away 2 engineer squads like that is quite costly at this stage of the game when you watch him begin bringing up tanks. Huge infantry wipes is going to make it a lot harder for him to, you know, keep it up. I'm dealing with the engineers, which are quite, you know, vital in keeping the tanks. Oh! Half-track went down, but the T-54 suffered critical engine damage. Not entirely sure what Ben was doing there. He seems to have a thing for just using his half-tracks well enough for some reason. He just suicides them. But he got about Pioneer Squad then, which turn. But I have no idea what happened there with that half-track. But it worked, I guess. Maybe he was trying to bait him into going to that telemine there. I mean, if you assume that Burmie seems to have a thing for baiting and more than happily sacrificing half-tracks, I guess. But that's just weird. Trying, I think, to rifle grenades. Oh, mortar here, almost wiped. Didn't need to retreat. He needs to get the T-34 back. Repaired. He's got more engineers, though. And then he's going to have to get out more T-34s and push Burmie harder. But that has been some aggressive turnarounds here. Going from Burmie being in the lead to HadYouLooked being in the lead to now back to Burmie. Trying to get the T-34. We got Pack 40 moving up there. Oh, missed. Very close. And now the Pumas are going to get the Pack 40 there. And the Grenadiers being baited into the machine gun defences there. And the penal troopers wipe the Pack 40. Quite a loss there for Burmie. But gets close enough to get off a Panzerfaust. A sneaky bastard. Quite a loss there for HadYouLooked. They should have probably tried getting act into the base instead of just parking it right next to it. He probably would have been a bit more successful than that still. Stealing a Pack 40 is going to help versus Burmie's armour. But Burmie now has the heavy Panther squad. And he had to go for a Panther now here at the 21-minute mark. And in that regard, the patch are not going to change how fast you can get it out. So, I mean, you know, HadYouLooked maybe not wasted so much units. He might have been a better presence. Thus, the Panther's going to have a harder time when he comes out. But there you go. Either way, stolen MG42 as well. Now Burmie is suddenly incredibly short on units. He's down to just as Grenadiers, one MG42, whereas HadYouLooked now has several infantry squads, engineers, an MG42, a mortar, and a Pack 40, giving HadYouLooked their rather full superiority. Of course, this is then where the Panther's supposed advantage is going to have to pull through for Burmie there with its 80mm of sloped armour, its high velocity 75mm gun, its amazing optics, and of course its cramped turret, which of course doesn't help out. And fun fact, they're still planning an even more cramped turret for the Panther, which made it really difficult to just even load a shot. That was apparently a lot cheaper to make. Smoke grenade out. They need to retreat. Oh, rough grenade off there. Ah, punishing HadYouLooked there. He should have anticipated a rifle grenade like that. He should have anticipated. That was definitely a tactical. And now I guess Penals are being caught here by a deadly crossfire from 3 Grenadier squads. Light machine guns just blazing left and right. Petrov, Sergei, Dmitry, Boris, all dead in a matter of moments. And there you go, got the Panther out. No pinlock machine gun yet, but there you go, rolling ahead for the fatherland. Finding that the penal troopers missing amazingly. Got a bit too close there, and there you go. Strafniki falling back there with 2 Grenadier squads supported by Panther. They realise they are outgunned. More shock troopers out to replace ones lost. I would probably have gone for an HD5 or maybe just in a T-34. I think the shock troopers in the current circumstances might be a mistake. Then again, the Panther's machine guns haven't been buffed yet, so that's not going to be an immediate threat to his infantry in a huge way. But well, got a pinball machine gun being added to the Panther, going for the shock trooper machine gun there in the centre. MG42 being held down here by Russian troops, mortar moving in as well there. And there you go, getting away with that MG42. Just push back the MG42 there. Females was then being flanked by the Panther. Going around there. The Panther Model D, which you can tell by the fact that there's these radiator pops in the rear, and well, which means it's not the early model, but the model. Well, that's actually Model A. The Model D was the early model, and it's not the Model G either, which had a slight chin-only turret, plus the driver's hatch in the front of the armour was removed to slightly improve the frontal armour and remove the one weak spot that was there. Units also being wiped out here, and there you go, annihilated. Quite lost there for HadYouLooked. And this Pack 40 is trying to catch up. They actually didn't reinforce it. I guess he was trying to set up manpower, but now he's in a bit of a sticky situation as the Panther pulls out. There you go. Pack 40 wiped here, but the Grenadiers flanking it. Good work there by Burmie. Though he is getting a bit risky there with this Panther, though he's at least trying to keep him in tandem with it, which is good. Grenadiers suppressed. Going to run there for the Pack 40 to deal with that Panther. snipes poor Yuri there, and but there he goes, going to expose the rear armor here to the Pack 40, and gets away there past the fence. Chops him away there, trying to wipe out Grenadiers in the retreat. Sergei gets crushed there by the Panther, the blitzes away. Shoots and misses. Fun fact though, the actual Panther though was actually really accurate. That was due to the sheer velocity of the shell, which means it doesn't dip a lot there, so it sort of flies out, allowing, in fact, ensuring the Panther didn't need to necessarily adjust the sights too much, because it just sort of sight in most cases straight on and fire. Simply again due to the sheer velocity of the shell. And that's another reason, you know, why the German tanks were in general sort of considered more accurate, because higher velocity needs more accuracy. It's not just the optics, but also the velocity. And the Russian tanks, for example, weren't quite so keen on that. They just went for larger calibers, which also, you know, meant with up the increased velocity, they weren't necessarily that accurate either. So a little fun fact there. Also branched out there to the Panther. Yeah, it's tactical camouflage. Are you sure you're just not being lazy and don't want to remove it? Maybe. So HadYouLooked has still got a larger force. Burmie's got a Panther, but it's not quite making the splash he wants it probably to do at the moment. And though he's really benefiting from HadYouLooked now going straight for the IS-2, otherwise we just get out a lot of tanks or anything to really threaten the Panther. HadYouLooked in the meanwhile though, probably needs a bit more careful with his infantry, of course, trying not to suffer any losses, because he's close to the IS-2 and the further than delays the IS-2 has caused more time for the Panther just to shoot down infantry with his machine guns. And now Burmie is going for a howitzer in a surprise move here. Probably helped deal with some more HadYouLooked's infantry and support weapons. He's calling in the lighter Feldhaubitz. Burmie is definitely not playing by the usual Wehrmacht metagame, that's for sure. They would normally more like need troops lightning war. A lot of going to do this for the G43s and, you know, Panzer force and Stoops, not Panthers, not, you know, Storm Doctrine. Though he's actually not making much use of it. We've not seen any ambush camouflage, no anti-tank mines, no tactical movement. So far, I've seen as the howitzer. Oh, right, there you go. IS-2 plan is delayed. He's going for the HUD-5 to help counter the Panther. Not a bad idea. Needs to be careful over those penal troopers right in front of the Panther. Panther with 9 kills, closing in veterans 1. Howitzer's almost good to go as well. For the Großdeutschland. And there you go, Howitzer fires. Unleashes hell. Mortar getting howitzered. Talk about counter-artillery there. There you go, should fire out here for HadYouLooked and the 7th Mechanized Corps. Pack 40 ambushing here. Using the doctrinal ambush ability, technically theory, it also gets his own there, I think at a higher level of veterancy, but this can just ambush right away in front of the Panther, gets a decent hit. In this case, the corner of the house pretty much meant to be just turning and dealing with it. The issue 5 might help. Needs to be getting used pushed back by Grenadiers. Panther rapidly strikes towards west to assist the Grenadiers, but the Grenadiers have been pushed back. Issue 5 moving in. Panther then needs to be a bit careful. It is moving far into hostile territory with no support. I mean, a single mine. And HadYouLooked has got a ton of munitions, by the way. Could spell the doom of the Panther. In fact, he should be mining a lot there just to try and catch the Panther with it, because once the Panther loses its mobility, it is in a lot of trouble. Got you filming enough of the Panther. Shoots the Panther, gets a good hit. So, securing the eastern side there, back here healing reinforcement. Panzer Grenadier finally arriving here for Burmie, and we got the howitzer sounding off again. This time to silence a potential machine gun nest there by the restaurant. We can see there HadYouLooked at his quick trip position. He's also getting closer to the IS-2 again. Pack 4 of the being assault act being pushed into the artillery area. Needs to keep some infantry close so it doesn't get wiped out. If you fire there with focus sight, need to be careful about that because there's some troubles there if it gets flanked. Since focus sight makes it very difficult to, you know, move about. Penal service Grenadiers closing in about 23 but forced to retreat. He's got access to the Stuka bombing strike here. assistance from the Luftwaffe. And there you go. Bomb grenade on the MD-42. Almost got half the unit. There you go, forced away. HadYouLooked getting ever closer to the IS-2 heavy tank. In the east, penal troops there. Oh, shock troops, engineer support going for the gun DC. Trying to get close, and there you go. Up close, the shock troopers will automatically win. There you go, gun DC forced away. Panther going to slice through HadYouLooked's center flank area there, and there you go. Panther moving in, need to be careful. Opening up the penal troops machine guns. Panther going to be supporting. HadYouLooked opens up the Panther, misses spectacularly. And these shock troops here getting pinned down by the MD-42, need to retreat. Or calling it into your barracks. He's beginning to fill a lot of munitions, really. There you go, calling in on MD-42 is going to be a bit late. I do think, though, he should consider laying down mines again. He needs to try and catch out that Panther. And his best choice in this case is going to be mines. I mean, if you can immobilize that Panther at any point in time there, HadYouLooked's chance of destroying it goes up massively. It's either he has to go for a lot of anti-tank guns. Of course, it leaves him more vulnerable to the infantry. So, right, to deal with it without having to commit to an awful lot of anti-tank guns would be mines. And again, he's got the missions to do so. But also, say maybe resources elsewhere and allow him to more safely go for the IS-2. We should see what it ends up with there for HadYouLooked. But we got artillery fire on the base. Now it's going to try and catch units retreating or wipe those instead. He, of course, needs to get away from the zone of fire there before he loses anything to that howitzer. Burmie following up there with the Sturmpanzer. Not feeling any sort of armoured threat besides the 185. He's committing to the Sturmpanzer to blast his way through HadYouLooked's quarter position. There you go. Panther is hit from the 85 down to less than half health. Almost switching on that tank destroyer. Grenadiers moving in and no supporting infantry. Except the penal troopers there who are now being dispatched by the Panzer Grenadiers supported by the Panther. Which is now Veterans 1. 12 kills for Deutschland. Look at this, Ludwig. We've got 12 kills. Yeah, but it's the infantry kills. Those don't count as much. We can't exactly do killings for those. I mean, who records the infantry kills anyways? Michael Wittmann doesn't. Bachmann doesn't. Well, he counts anything really and makes them up, I think. But there you go. Sturmpanzer rolling ahead. Pin-up machine being added as well there. Bunched up units, easy target here for it, though it still managed to spectacularly do very little. Knocks up a lot of dirt, but doesn't leave any Germans screaming in pain. Or Russians, I mean. Not Germans, that would be a bit of a problem there. That's a court-martialable offence. There you go, closer down to half health, pulls back. He does not try to wrangle with the Panther. And he's still pushing out again, as you see Burmie moving out the west side. More pioneers in there for Burmie to help repair his armour. He realises he needs more repairs there for his Panther. He's also getting close to the IS-2 that HadYouLooked. He's almost got the fuel now. He just needs to ensure he doesn't lose too much manpower in the process. If he can do that, he could also just pop a smoke grenade there to minimize incoming fire from all the machine guns. Basically, just save up manpower, conserve, go for the IS-2, support the IS-2 initially fire the Pack 4, then try to hunt down the Panther and destroy it. If you can do that, you should have a reasonable good chance. Mortar wipe, by the way, still not recruited here by HadYouLooked and the 7th Mechanized Corps. MD-42 comes bring up the east side. Coming up, you've got a few stacks of sandbags left in the centre. The rest have been removed. And Howitzer back in action. Veterans 1. 0 kills though. Most of the damage to the base structures are Mandian. Not the most efficient use of artillery, to be honest. Not the most efficient use of Burmie by his artillery. But he's been doing a lot more damage with it, but just he seems interested in only just, firing at safe spots in a sense, so he ends up wasting it really. Though if HadYouLooked does move any of his units here, it might work out, I guess. Looks like he's not fully paying attention there. He really needs to be a bit more careful there. HadYouLooked. Oh. Liat. Oh, no, never mind. Most people will push back on the D-slope. Replacement halfway though for Burmie after the second one got blown up in that weird attack. H5 Pack 40 dealing with a Panther fast off from the H5. Pack 40 needs to set up to shoot. Grenadiers that's him some problem again. He's not leaving infantry. Supports anti-tank assets here versus Burmie there. That's actually a problem. He needs to keep infantry close to the tanks on the anti-tank guns. Exactly, so stuff like this doesn't happen because it just allows them to get up close, Panzerfast the tanks, and then rush in with the Panther or whatever you need to deal with it. So right here, HadYouLooked made a tactical error in terms of force composition, allowing here Burmie to punish him with the armoured fist of Deutschland. Panther getting there close to it, as he gets a lot of free shots there on the H-85, which only had 45mm of sloped armour, as a fun fact. Brought him the Sturmpanzer. Panther falling back. Almost got the Sturmpanzer there, but seems like Burmie's able to pull it out in time. Got the Pack 40 there with the Panther. 17 kills for Germany and 1 tank destroyer kill. The rest are infantry. MG42 closing in at 23. More pioneers in the way there for Burmie. Almost done there. His Sturmpanzer's only going to need them. Oh, he's pushing it ahead again. Risky. Pack 40 recruit again. Needs to get some troops down there. But again, he's trying to set up resources for the IS-2. You sort of see the problem. Maybe could have maybe gone for it faster, wouldn't be in this situation. He's just preserved some of his units better. Instead, he's now in this situation where he's just sort of desperately struggling. Quite a few hits on the Panther. Eventually, 2 volleys shoots up. Pack 40 wiped. And there you go. He can finally call in the IS-2 at the 36-minute mark. Rather late here for HadYouLooked. And Burmie in the new model has been able to sort of restore the situation in favour of Germany, having now control most of the field, and certainly having the armour advantage. So we'll see if the IS-2 can't change things up there. He's not also been very good at using his munitions, to be honest. I think that's one of HadYouLooked's bigger issues. Again, there's been a critical lack of mines and overall doctrine abilities as well in many cases. I really think he'd just been, laying down a lot of mines. Again, that Panther would have been a lot easier of a target. There you go. IS-2 opening up the Sturmpanzer, getting a good hit in. One more hit and that's going to be down. And there you go, Sturmpanzer kaput. Not going to be easy to deal with. Got the Panther moving in. Panther fast in the IS-2. 10 great hit out in the IS-2. We seem to deal with the Panther first. That's the priority here. Penetrating hit on the IS-2. We got Panzerjägers moving up the Panther 6. A lot of penetrating hits in the IS-2. Needs to get support in. They got Pims flanking him. Might be able to get off satchel charge there. And, can he do it? He does it! He does it! Almost got the Panther there with the satchel charge. So he's going to push it back for some time, giving his IS-2 more time. So that's nasty development there for Burmie. They've still got most of the map. And his troops are beginning to sort of bleed out there. More severely, the Howitzers still firing. Looks like it actually successfully wiped something. 7 kills, looks like it. Might in fact wipe one of his penal trooper squads. So it's starting to become a bit of a problem there for HadYouLooked. And the only one engineer squad is going to take him quite some time to figure his IS-2 in the meanwhile. And again, the lack of mines just makes it easier for Burmie just to it was going for a replacement Sturmpanzer. While his Panther's still desperately dragging itself back to safer areas. They're still working at the IS-2 with a lot of health. Finally popping a smoke grenade against the MG42. Took him long enough. I'm surprised he hasn't been using his smoke grenade to just grenades into the penal troops in general more. But again, overall his ability usage seems to be a bit weak here versus Burmie. Though not going to claim Burmie's been amazing on them in some ways, but at least in some ways I feel like he's been using them more. He's about to lose his penal shock troopers. Oh, Spliat. There you go, wipe, quite a loss there for HadYouLooked, and not one he can afford at this stage of the game. Again, he needs to strengthen up his ability users, and mines again would also done a lot of good. Sturmpanzer rolling ahead here, MG42 in the centre versus Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers. Starting to look pretty rough here for HadYouLooked there. Cinder raining down here. Panzerjägers wiped out there by a mortar round. Grenadiers suffering through the fires of Stalinist hell there. As the MG42 also just unleashes 1,000 bullets there. T-35 on the way to support HadYouLooked. This IS-2 which is almost good to go here. Starting to look pretty grim. They stand to 45 versus Burmie's 279 victory points. Mortar taking direct hit there from the Sturm Panzer. IS-2 moving in, closing in on Veterans 1. Panther charging through the centre. Quickly burn up before it gets hit by any, say, statue charges there. Burma's not going to have that happen twice. Sturm Panzer being outmaneuvered here by the IS-2. Bit unfortunate for Burmie. Might risk losing it here. Almost got it. Veterans 1 in for those two. Panther moving in. Panther moving in. People being satchel charges. Weapons moving in there. Go. Almost got it off. Didn't quite. Oh, need to pull back the penal troopers before they get annihilated. Panther shoots the IS-2. Allowing the penal troopers to get away. Got Pioneers charging forward. Still the MD-42 supporting. IS-2 penetrates the Panther's frontal armour. Finding an east there, still the MD-42. IS-2 misses the Panther. Panther penetrates the frontal armour there. We got a Stuka bomb drum in on the MD-42, wiping out, but still retreats the Pioneers because they're taking too much damage from the MD-42. IS-2 bounce off the Panther. Panther bounce off the IS-2. Penetrating hit there from the IS-2 on the Panther, closing in on Veteran C2. T-34 moving support here. The IS-2 does the Panther, and there you go. Panther down to half health. Almost veteran free there. Almost veteran free. Using the T-34 to ram the Panther. Panther getting veteran free. And that small speed boost, I think, just allows it to get beyond the range of the T-34. Now the T-34 is without engine there. Right in front. Or engine down temporarily. Panther takes another penetrate. Panther fast on the IS-2. Almost got it. Grenadiers being almost wiped out, but the Grenadiers in the disc. And they're going to bring in the Panther against the IS-2. Grenadiers white, using the terrain here to avoid shots from the Panther. He could have tried to attack ground, but he doesn't. Shoots to the T-34 instead. Couldn't he attack ground here with the IS-2 at the Panther? Penetrating hit from the T-34. T-34 goes down. IS-2 moving in. Panther. Oh, he's going in for it. He's going in for it. Misses the IS-2. The IS-2 hits the Panther, and the Ace Panther goes down to the IS-2. 22 points left. Burmie's barely got anything left. HadYouLooked barely got anything left. The MD-42, they got wiped. He's pushing out another Panther. Can HadYouLooked get it back in time to repair? He's got no engineers left. In fact, he just used his remaining engineer squad while he's getting more to recruit the MD-42. He needs to go for more engineers if he wants to get that Panther fixed up fast, because he should know with the state it is one of Burmie's priorities is going to be rushing it down. He knows HadYouLooked has not been mining, so he's not going to be afraid about rushing in there either. So in this regard, HadYouLooked mining is giving, Burmie just a lot of freedom, a lack of mining specifically. Whereas again, Burmie mines, so in that regard, HadYouLooked might be feeling a bit more constrained. We've got Grenadiers moving for the IS-2 though. Even that can get close. IS-2 shoots, misses, and of course with this, the Grenadiers, and thus Burmie knows where the IS-2 is. Shocked was running when he needs more, and he needs to desperately fix the IS-2. Now he's trying to deal with the Grenadiers still fixing the IS-2. The Panther arrives for Burmie. Pushing up these society pioneers was the MD-42. S-Mine's finally done there to cover the centre victory point. Pumes moving in, they're not support the IS-2 to cover it or screen it or anything. He needs more engineers to HadYouLooked that. They also need to get those penalties moving. There you go. Second Panther up for Burmie and the Groß Deutschland Panzer Division. Fixing up the IS-2, but it's got a little health left. Smoke screen down, but that's not going to do anything against the Panther for the IS-2. There you go, shoots bounces, both bounces there. Engineers being cut down to try to fix the IS-2. Got to penetrate, but the Panther did so as well. Engineers about to get annihilated. Satchel charge off, gets away. Penetrating here. Panther gets one as well, and the IS-2 goes up in flames. Satchel charge off from the Panther, but he's lost too much. I mean, grounded. Burmie's barely got any troops left. Says HadYouLooked. And there goes Mines in the centre with this. HadYouLooked and the 7th Mechanised Corps is broken. Offensive actions are called off. And the Groß Deutschland is barely standing, having been beaten quite brutally as well. So rather intense match here by the end of the fight, highlighting that I guess while the Panthers nicely just gone for Panther Forces, Stucci Pro could have done a lot more damage faster, just won the match, but he guessed he wanted to go for it. Overall, I mean, HadYouLooked was close though. I mean, again, had Burmie just pushed for medium armor, but HadYouLooked would probably been a lot more trouble. Then again, he probably would have gone for the IS-2. The issue I think for HadYouLooked was just he kept losing units in rather silly ways. His unit preservation as the game went on sort of struggled, causing quite large manpower bleeds, make it a lot hard for him to just push for the IS-2 fast. There was no caches either, and the HF5, well, Nice wasn't quite, I think, used in the most optimal manner either, because he kept not supporting with infantry. So things were sort of slowly falling apart for HadYouLooked as it went game went on, as Burmie just sort of slowly got stronger. Burmie also made good use of half-tracks. So could have made better use of his docks, and I feel that was one of his bigger mistakes there. There was some room there for improvement, and HadYouLooked should have mined. He should have mined a lot. Now I think 2 mines from HadYouLooked at this match, and you know, most of them were like mid to early game, whereas you need more in the late game to that way try and stall the Panther again. Had that Panther hit a mine, that would have been GG there in favour of HadYouLooked, because the Panther would be an easy target, a sitting duck for the tank destroyer and anti-tank guns. So I think that was a really big missed opportunity there by HadYouLooked. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dating Cheese. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow for a nice hunting episode. Bye.